Trend lines helps us to find the direction of the market. Either we are in an uptrend or in downtrend. In an uptrend, trend line act as a support, and in downtrend, trend lines act as resistance. Whenever the price is going to touch that trend line, it's going to bounce. What is trend line? Trend lines play a vital role in technical analysis, serving purposes such as identifying and confirming market structures. A trend line is a straight line that connects multiple price points and can be extended into the future to act as either a support or resistance line. Similar principles used for support and resistance levels can also be applied to trend lines. So if we look at this picture, we know that we are in a trend. We are creating higher highs and higher lows. How do we draw the trend line? From the first point, from the first pivot where the market starts moving up, we draw the trend line from there, connect the second point, and connect the third point. This trend line is acting as support. Every time the price is going to come to this trend line, it's going to bounce until this line is broken and we change the market structure. If we look at the downtrend, market is heading down. With every pullback, whenever we're going to touch that trend line, we're going to get rejected. We have 2 to 3 touches and we are heading down. On the sideways, it's similar. We are creating equal highs and equal lows. How to draw the trend lines? Uptrend, locate the lowest point where the price has previously reached. Find the next 1 to 2 higher lows. Connect these higher lows using the trend line tool. Similar to identifying support and resistance, focus on both wicks and bodies when drawing the trend line. Okay, so how do we draw a trend line? Let's look at the picture here. When we are trending up, we need to draw our trend line from the beginning, from where the trend is starting. There is a pullback. It's the first touch, then this is the second touch, then there is another pullback, the third touch. So we have 3 touches, which confirms that we are in an uptrend. We will touch all these 3 pivots with our trend line, and we will see the price is bouncing from there. If it's bouncing and it's respecting that trend line, the trend is valid. Downtrend, identify the highest point where price has been, find the next 1 to 2 low highs and connect these highs with your trend line tool. So this is the highest point. We will start our trend line from here. We'll connect the second and the third, and this trend line will verify that we are in downtrend. The price is respecting this trend line. Every time the price is touching this area, it's just getting rejected. Trend line as support. When we are in an uptrend, the trend line act as a support. So let's say we started from here. Whenever the price is touching this trend line, it's bouncing. Touch, bounce until it's broken. So when we have at least 3 touches on the trend line, it's verified that we are in an uptrend and this trend line is valid. Let's say we have only 2 touches. This trend line is not valid until we see that the third touch is respecting the trend line and bouncing. So here we have 3 touches respecting the trend line, bouncing. Next time we came down here, we bounced again. But what happened here now? So this trend is valid until this trend line is broken. Now the trend line is broken. We retested this trend line. Now we are not creating higher highs and higher lows. When, if you remember the previous lesson, market structure, in an uptrend, we create higher highs and higher lows. Here is the higher high, higher high, higher high, and here are the higher lows, right? And right here, we created higher high, but next one is not the higher high. We started creating higher low. So what happens here? It's confirmed that this was the trend line, but now this trend line is broken. So there is change in market structure. We might see a push towards downside. Make sure that your trend line is valid. Always recheck the points. And there is no golden rule, like you need to draw your trend line from the body or the wick. Sometime you will consider the wick, sometime you will consider the body. So every time when you will draw the trend line, it will show you by itself that if it's right or wrong. Trend line as a resistance. So whenever the price is moving down, we are in downtrend. The trend line act as a resistance area. Let's see here. The price is coming down. We are touching this trend line, getting rejected. We touch this, got rejection again until this is broken. So this trend line was valid as there were multiple touches, which makes this valid bearish trend. And once this trend line is broken, here we can see that we broke this trend line, and there is also a change in market structure. We were creating lower highs and lower lows. We just made higher low right here. So there is a good indication that we might be changing the trend and market might reverse from here. So that's what exactly happened. We broke this trend and straight went up. So always consider where the price is at. If either the price is respecting the trend line or it's just breaking the trend line. If it's respecting the trend line, we'll make sure that we are in downtrend. But if we are breaking that trend line, so market might be reversing and we might reverse the price and go back up from there. Should I leave trend lines on my chart like this? Of course not. Just look at the chart. Let's say the price is somewhere around here. We are just following this trend. This was the previous trend, right? So now this trend is completed. We are trading somewhere around here at this area or might be this area. Then there is no point of this trend line because it was in the past, right? It's okay to draw your trend line to know the market, where the market is heading, what happened in the past, to know the history of the chart. But it is not recommended to keep the trend lines on your chart. Always try to keep your chart clean, so it will be helpful for you to take a decision easily. But if there are going to be a lot of mess on your charts, I'm afraid you will take some wrong decisions. Important details about trend lines. Trend line offers great insight. They should be used with caution to avoid false signals. Once you verify your trend, recheck that your trend line is accurate. A trend line requires at least 2 points to be drawn accurately. The more times the price touches a trend line, the stronger the support or resistance it represents. Sometimes it may be challenging to identify more than 2 points for constructing a trend line. In such cases, consider the likelihood of the trend holding based on other factors. If a trend line is broken, it is important to use additional indicators to determine the correct entry or exit points for a trend. The overall market structure must be taken into account, as a broken trend line does not necessarily indicate a change in market structure. So as I always say, there is not only one condition you need to take a trade. We look for the multiple signals to take a trade. So let's say if I am taking a trade, I will consider a lot of other things instead of just, focusing on trend line. Trend line is just giving me an idea the market is heading up. So whenever the price is going to come down to the trend line, I need some other conditions to take a decision that either I should be in that trade, or that trade is not for me. So let's say we find multiple reasons, and trendline is one of them that verifies us, that give us confidence that, yeah, if market is heading up, the price is respecting at the trend line, the price is respecting at the support level as well. The price is at support or the trend line, we see some bullish engulfings there, we see some morning stars there. So there are a lot of other things which we combine together while taking a trade. So it is not recommended to take a trade solely based on trend lines.